Cutler rallied the Bears past the Raiders 22-20 Sunday. Cutler was 28 of 43 for 281 yards and 2 TDs. When asked after the game if Cutler is too often criticized, Martellus Bennett said, this guy's great. They threw rocks at Jesus, and Jesus was an excellent guy who did a lot of awesome stuff. Our guy, Skip.
I'd say he was.
Marty,
He was an excellent guy.
Marty to Cuddy, comparing him to Jesus like
yeah.
only a Bennett brother can. Skip.
And y'all find this humorous?
We're about to. At your expense.
How impressed were you by Jay Cutler?
You know, Stephen A., I still really like this Raiders team, and it's possible this Raiders team was looking ahead to its home game next Sunday against Peyton's Broncos. But yesterday, the Oakland Raiders, on the rise, got Cutlered, as in Jay Cutler, your favorite Vanderbilt quarterback, anchor down. Way to go, Jay. Jay Cutler wasn't really supposed to be back yet from his pulled hamstring. He sucked it up, gutted it up, and played yesterday. Way to go, Jay Cutler. And he lost his starting center early to a broken leg, and he was already down 2 other offensive line starters. And yet, Jay Cutler threw 2 touchdown passes, and then this time he canceled a late interception by leading a late drive all the way down for a 49-yard field goal that won the football game. Way to go, Jay Cutler. Make this guy open his eyes and see that you can still play at a very high level.
Well, I've never, excuse me, boy, you lucky I'm sick today. I will say this to you. The reason why I said y'all are laughing at this, because Jay Cutler is no savior. Jay Cutler is quite pathetic compared to most saviors. Literally, figuratively, subliminally, fantasy-wise, it doesn't matter.
Fantasy, like you pay attention.
It doesn't matter. This man doesn't get it done. He won a game yesterday, that's fine. You know, most teams win a few games during the regular season.
Mere bag of shells.
Okay, mere bag of
that's
shells.
what I was thinking.
It's no big deal. They beat the Oakland Raiders. Helped that Crabtree went down. I'll give you that. You know, it's the Oakland Raiders, which I reminded you about just the last week. I was trying to tell you, they're not there yet. Relax. Pump up the brakes. They can go on a run, Stephen. They can go on a run. They're coming. Just wait. Whatever. I'm still waiting.
The Denver
I'm still
Broncos
waiting.
are going to have their hands full next Sunday.
Sure.
Wow.
I feel you on that. I'm just saying that, you know, they won a game yesterday in Chicago, Soldier Field. All right, I got it, Skip. You know, but be careful. You know, Matt Forte, 91 yards rushing. Okay, congratulations. I get it. No Alshon Jeffrey, I understand that. Martellus Bennett came alive. You got him the ball. You got him the ball 11 times. I appreciate that, Skip Bayless. They needed to get him the ball. They needed to get him the ball more. Mike Ditka was on SportsCenter yesterday talking about how they needed to get Martellus Bennett the ball. But it is Jay Cutler we're talking about here. So you can get all excited. You can do that. But I just want you to keep in mind, from Dallas to Jay Cutler, you know, I mean, Tom Brady's reliable, so I give you there.
He's reliable?
I give you there.
That's all you're giving?
No.
Reliable?
What I'm saying
He's okay.
is your heart's not going to get completely cracked in half because at least one of the 3 is going to come through for you. But I have an obligation because, you see, I don't want to do this show without you. You understand what I'm saying? It ain't no first take without Skip Bayless, man. And I want you here. So you have to understand, I don't want you to put yourself in a position where your heart gets cracked in half, you can't recover, you're in no position to be up here on this set with us because you're so disappointed because you place your faith in the wrong people. It's one game. Pump the brakes, calm down, relax, chill, because Jay Cutler will not let you down. He will screw up again on several occasions before this season's over. Don't even worry about it.
Jay Cutler does not have my heart.
John Fox don't even believe in him. That's why he's sitting up there and cleaning house. Don't be surprised if Matt Forte is next. Trust me.
Cowboys,
they don't get rid of
Brady,
everybody.
Spurs.
Please.
They have your heart. Those 3, right?
please.
And the show.
Yeah, and they really haven't let me down.
And Ernestine, all those.
Yeah.
That's who has your heart. Breaking news here into First Take. Head coach of the Miami Dolphins, Joe Philbin, has been fired. More First Take after the break. Thank you for that, Stephen A.
League sources are telling our Adam Schefter the Dolphins are preparing to fire head coach Joe Philbin. Sources said the organization could make the move as soon as today, but Dolphins owner Stephen Ross could always change his mind. Stephen A., you said this was going to happen. You thought it was the right move. You still on board with that? What's your reaction?
Absolutely. I think it would be an absolute. I think I'm not calling anybody names. But I think in this particular instance, Mr. Ross, the owner for the Miami Dolphins, let me be very, very clear, would be an absolute fool not to fire Joe Philbin. He has to go. And I say that with no joy, or I don't know Joe Philbin. I'm just going by what I see. And one of the things that I lean on, Skip Bayless, and I'll use this as an example, the Steelers a couple of years back started out 0-4. And I never forget one of my proudest moments watching Mike Tomlin was when he was standing on the sideline, and literally when the game was decided, he was watching guys come to the sidelines, come off the field, and one by one he made it a point to stand in front of them and look into each one of their eyes. And when they asked him about it later, he said, I want to make sure I know who's going to quit and who's not. Mike Tomlin, you hear how Ryan Clark speaks about him and other members of the Pittsburgh Steelers. To some degree, we hear that about Bill Belichick. We hear that. We heard that about Bill Parcells. We hear that about a plethora of other coaches. We also hear the flip side, the Philbins of the world, who had no business being the head coach. By the way, he wasn't even a coordinator, if I remember correctly. He was a position coach, and it's rare you see a position coach gets elevated to the head coaching duties. I believe that Joe Philbin is a knowledgeable football mind who can contribute to a lot of good to organizations. Maybe he could go back to Green Bay and work with Brett Favre or whatever. He has, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers. He has no business being a head football coach in the National Football League. I do not believe he is a leader of men. I do not believe that he is somebody that can galvanize the troops and to inspire them to go all out. Although it wasn't as ugly as people want to surmise, the bottom line is they went to London, England yesterday and lost to the New York Jets, and after the meeting with the defensive coordinator, who definitely is going to go because the players can't stand playing for him, the bottom line is they gave up 160-plus yards to Chris Ivory, okay? And Ndamukong Suh looks like a shell of himself. Remember, he was in Detroit. He was telling his defensive teammates, this is what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. You go there, you go there, you go there. Now in Miami, he's just another name that, another puppet for them, which is why he didn't answer those questions, even though I believe he should answer those questions because that's what you paid to do, play and answer questions. That's what being a professional is, but that's another subject for another day. The bottom line is he is clearly being misused. He's not being helped. He's definitely not being inspired. So you take all of those things into consideration, and considering the $149+ million that the Miami Dolphins spent in the offseason, you are coming up short. Stephen Ross's one shot to save this season is to fire Philbin today. I'm sad about it because I don't wish that on anybody. I swear to you. I don't want anybody to impede anybody's ability to take care of their families. But I'm sure he'll get a severance package, and before long he'll land someplace else with a job as a coordinator or position coach. He just don't need to be a head coach, especially in Miami. It is time for Philbin to go, and I expect, not hope, I expect Ross to announce that decision within the next couple of hours.
You think that would save the season for this team?
I think it's the only shot to save the season. I'm not saying it'll work. I'm saying it's their only shot.
Okay. I have thought Philbin was in over his head since, remember when Hard Knocks did the Dolphins camp?
Yeah.
Lost track.
With him and Ocho Cinco. Yeah, that really rubbed me the wrong way, too.
Me too.
Yeah.
Okay, the problem here is that somebody committed long-term to Ryan Tannehill as the face of the franchise quarterback. And that was a big mistake. And I said it before the draft, but right now Ryan Tannehill's QBR is 32 on a scale of 0 to 100. And yesterday, on third down, Ryan Tannehill's offense was 0 for 12, and on fourth down, 0 for 4, a combined 0 for 16. He's not good enough to save the season. That's just me. I've said it from the start, and I've been consistent. So you got two big issues. You have a head coach, and you have a quarterback. You can't undo the quarterback, and I don't know who should be responsible for signing the quarterback. Was it just Philbin? Did Ross have a hand in that? Was it from the executives, the general manager? I don't know. But in the end, you also gave an astounding amount of money to a Suh who doesn't have leadership intangibles to me in the locker room. He is sort of his own guy. And as long as you let him do his own thing, I don't know about him calling out signals to the other defenders, maybe so. But
Not signals. I'm just saying that he was telling guys where they should be on the field. That's what the other football analysts say.
Okay, but to me, he's not a leader in the locker room that you need when you pay that guy that much money.
Okay.
I don't think he was a leader in Detroit, and so he's not rubbing off on the rest of the team. So you have a great defensive lineman, though some people wonder about his effort from play to play. I don't know about that, but you have a quarterback who's not big time. So you're going to have problems. You could put another coach in there, and I'm not sure you could turn it around quickly.
But Skip, the thing about it is that all the aficionados say that he was worth the money because of what he means to that defense, clogging the line of scrimmage, neutralizing your running game. I think the indictment against Joe Philbin is that they're running all over the Miami Dolphins. They can't stop the run to save their life. Ryan Tannehill being overpaid, I personally don't think he's overpaid. I think that when you look at the $45 million, considering the money that's being doled out, the fact that Jay Cutler is guaranteed $9 more million than Ryan Tannehill, I think he's somewhat of a bargain. I just think that you have to put the necessary pieces around him. You can't bring in Wallace and expect him to do his Hardline is gone as well. You had him in there. He was supposed to be something. You know, you just look at the personnel decisions that were made. Skip, it's almost like they're lifeless. And let me tell you something right now. And I know it's just something on the periphery, and people don't take this into consideration. But I'm going to tell y'all again, and people need to learn to listen to me when I say stuff like this because it's important. Where you play matters sometimes. You can't be in South Beach with those distractions and you ain't ultra motivated. You have to be. A Kobe Bryant can play in South Beach. A Kevin Durant and a LeBron and them, they can play in South Beach. Dudes who are full. Russell Westbrook can play in South Beach. But you can't have somebody that's easily distracted.
I get it.
And they're in Miami. All I'm trying to say to you is that when stuff like that happens, you got to have that extra motivational skill inside of you when you don't have the personnel that fits that. Philbin ain't that dude. That's my issue. Tomlin, if coaching Mike in South Beach, he could do that.
Okay.
You need people like that.
But at 0-4, he still had Big Ben. Right?
I understand that.
So you're okay.
I understand that, but I'm just saying when things were falling apart, cats didn't go out there and give up. You got guys calling out the defensive coordinator. They tweeting about being gone. And, you know, all of this kind of stuff going on. In the middle of the game, you can't have that.
Nope.
They got to go. Coach got to go. Got to go.
Like the Eagles, this Dolphins team, a lot of people were optimistic going into the season that they were going to be very strong. Now they're sitting at 1-3 in the AFC East. After the break, Jay Cutler leads Chicago to their first win of the season. Woohoo! How impressed is Stephen A. by the Bears franchise quarterback? Can't wait for that. Find out next.